We're diving deep into the history of the Mazda RX7, a car that's more than just metal and rubber. It's a legend, an icon. So what makes it so special? Here's everything you need to know.
When I looked at Datsun 280ZX and Porsche 924, I also looked at this new Mazda RX7, and that's all it took.
Just one look, that's all it took. Yeah, just one look, that's all it took.
Picture this. It's 1978 and Mazda unleashes the first-generation RX-7, codenamed SA and later FB. This was Mazda's bold answer to the rising stars, like the Datsun 240Z and the Porsche 924. Mazda wanted to stand out, and boy, did they ever. This first-gen RX-7 was all about sleekness and agility. It had this fantastic, modern look with a long hood and a short rear deck. And those pop-up headlights? Pure 70s and 80s cool. What I really love about this car is how it embodied Mazda's Jinba Itai philosophy, that feeling of rider and horse as one. Thanks to that compact rotary engine placed behind the front axle, it achieved a near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution. Now for the heart of the beast, the 1.1-liter 12A twin-rotor Wankel engine. This thing was revolutionary. Instead of pistons, it used a triangular rotor, making it super compact and incredibly smooth. You could rev effortlessly to 7,000 RPM, feeling almost like a Ferrari V12. That's a unique sensation you just don't get with conventional engines. Initially, it put out a modest 100 horsepower. Later models, like the GSL SE, got a larger 1.3-liter 13B RES engine with electronic fuel injection, bumping power to a respectable 135 horsepower and 133 pound-feet of torque. They even introduced a turbocharged 12A in Japan, pushing 165 horses. And the performance? For its time, it was seriously impressive. It hit 60 miles per hour in about 9 seconds, which was half a second quicker than a European-spec Porsche 924. It was praised for being nimble and fun to drive, often outperforming its rivals in the corners. This first-gen RX-7 was an absolute smash hit. Mazda sold over 470,000 units globally, with a massive 70 to 80% of those finding homes in the United States alone. This success really solidified Mazda's reputation for innovative sports cars. This outcome wasn't just about good sales, it was about a strategic market entry. Mazda didn't just build a car, they built a compelling value proposition. The unique rotary engine allowed for a compact, lightweight design, which, despite modest horsepower figures, translated into competitive performance due to the car's agility and high-revving nature. Today, these cars are becoming quite collectible. While you might find some project cars for a few thousand, a pristine 12A-powered variants can fetch up to $44,000. Can you imagine that? Fast forward a few years, and in 1985, the second generation, the FC series, burst onto the scene. This wasn't just a facelift. The FC was noticeably larger and heavier than its predecessor, with a more sophisticated and a wedge-shaped design. I think Mazda was clearly aiming for a more mature, upscale market. They even openly targeted their German rivals, taking styling cues from the Porsche 944 and, surprisingly, even the Dodge Daytona. You can definitely see that Porsche influence in its lines. Underneath, Mazda significantly upgraded the chassis, introducing an independent rear suspension. This was a big deal for improving handling, making the FC not just fast in a straight line, but capable in corners too. The heart of the FC was still the 13B twin-rotor. The naturally aspirated version started at 146 horsepower and later jumped to 160 horses by 1992. thanks to lighter rotors and a higher compression ratio. But the real game changer was the Turbo 2 model, introduced in 1987. This thing was a beast, initially cranking out 182 horsepower and 183 pound-feet of torque. By Series 5, the Turbo 2 was pushing 200 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque, featuring a twin-scroll turbocharger and a dedicated intercooler intake on the hood. Performance-wise, turbo variants could hit 60 miles per hour in about 7 seconds and top out over 143 miles per hour. Autocar even praised it for its searing performance and strong grip, calling it easily the fastest car in the class, outpacing the Porsche 944, BMW M3, Renault GT V6, and Toyota Supra Turbo. Talk about punching above its weight. Mazda produced over 272,000 FCs globally. In the US, sales peaked in 1986 at 56,203 units, but then began a noticeable decline year after year. A cool addition to the lineup was the convertible, which debuted in 1988. It featured a power-operated top and, get this, the first integral wind blocker. Mazda built around 22,000 of these open-air rotary cruisers. Interestingly, recent auction data suggests average prices for FCs actually decreased from 2023 to 2024, possibly due to more convertibles or cars in rougher shape hitting the market. You won't believe this, but some sold for as low as $3,750. Beyond the track, the FC quickly became a favorite in the drifting scene. Alongside legends like the Toyota Corolla AE86 and Nissan Silvia S13, its balanced front-engine rear-wheel drive layout made it perfect for sideways action, placing it at the forefront of drifting development. Despite these upgrades and significant performance gains, contemporary reviews pointed out a choppy ride, inconsistent weighting from its speed-sensitive power steering, and noted it was not as accomplished as the Porsche and Renault Alpine. US sales, after an initial peak, began a steady decline. This suggests that in pursuing sophistication and a broader market, the FC might have lost some of the raw, lightweight Jinba Itai purity that defined the first generation.
The Automobile Journalists of Canada took 3 months to test the finalists, but just a few seconds to choose the winner. The Mazda RX7, voted Best New Performance Car of 1992.
Let's talk about the one that, for many, is the absolute pinnacle, the third and final generation, the FD series. Launched in 1993, this car was a true design masterpiece. It was born during the bio-design era, and you can see it in every curve. Elegant organic shapes, rounded corners, and yes, it kept those beloved pop-up headlights. Here's what I think. The FD's design is just timeless. That low nose and slim engine compartment, thanks to the compact rotary, gave it an unmistakable profile that piston-engined cars just couldn't replicate. It had this small two-door cabin, a super long sloped rear windscreen that doubled as the trunk lid, and a distinctive wide taillight stretching from side to side. It looked fast even when standing still. Under that gorgeous hood was the legendary 13BREW twin-rotor engine. And this, my friends, was a technological marvel. It featured the first mass-produced sequential twin turbocharger system exported from Japan, developed with Hitachi. Here's how it worked. One turbo spooled up early, giving you boost from just 1,800 RPM. Then, at around 4,000 RPM, the second turbo kicked in, seamlessly maintaining boost all the way to redline, which meant power was always there, ready to go. Power figures were insane for its time. Initially 255 horsepower in 1992, climbing to a mighty 280 horses by the end of production in 2002 for top-tier Japanese models. Torque was healthy too, starting at 217 pound-feet and reaching 232 pound-feet for the Series 8 Type RS. Its performance was nothing short of breathtaking. It could rocket from 0 to 60 in a mere 5.5 seconds and hit a top speed of nearly 160 miles per hour. That's near supercar territory. Many enthusiasts, myself included, consider the FD to be the best handling of all RX-7s and the best driver's car among its rivals. Think Nissan 300ZX, Mitsubishi GTO, and Toyota Supra. Its chassis was optimized for that perfect 50-50 weight distribution, making it responsive in the corners. It offered incredible balance, grip, and braking with a super responsive chassis. The steering was light, quick, and communicative. Despite being an engineering and a performance marvel, the FD faced a tough road. A weak economy and an escalating MSRP ultimately led to its demise in the US by 1995. Global production finally ceased in 2002. US sales plummeted dramatically, from over 5,000 units in 1993 to a mere 1,399 in 1995. In total, only 13,879 units were sold in the US, and less than 70,000 units were produced worldwide. This highlights a critical cause and effect. Even a product that is objectively superior in performance and engineering can struggle or fail in the market if external economic conditions and its pricing strategy are misaligned with consumer purchasing power. Mazda's pursuit of ultimate performance and refinement led to a higher cost, which the market, especially during an economic downturn, was unwilling or unable to bear. Here's the silver lining. That rarity makes the FD incredibly collectible today, often fetching much higher prices at auctions. The average used price currently hovers around $43,000, but pristine, low-mileage examples have sold for a jaw-dropping $148,000. That's supercar money for a JDM legend. This market failure in its production era directly contributed to its current highly collectible status and high auction prices. The low production numbers, a consequence of declining sales, ironically made it a desirable rarity for collectors later on. What was a commercial challenge then became a collector's boon now.